At the beginning of the story, we see a chemist performing plastic surgery on a gangster. This gangster had carried out a major theft for a Chinese mafia group, but after the robbery, he betrayed them and ran away with all the gold. Now both the police and the Chinese mafia were after him to recover the gold. That's why he went to his uncle for help, who ran a chemist shop nearby. His uncle told him that his face would have to be changed to give him a new identity so no one would recognize him. After that, he inserted sharp needles into his face. They had no proper medicines, so they carried out the entire operation using old-fashioned methods, which caused the gangster extreme pain. After the surgery, his uncle told him to forget the past. This face would now be his new identity. Meanwhile, we are introduced to the Chinese gangster Dragon Lee, who had come into their area searching for him. To recover his gold, Dragon Lee searched every corner of the area and eventually reached the chemist who had treated the gangster. His men forcefully entered the shop and vandalized it, and Lee tortured the chemist badly. They managed to find the stolen gold, but Lee was also looking for the man himself. The chemist had told the gangster not to come out, but seeing his uncle's life in danger, the gangster stepped forward. To save him, he fought Lee's men without caring about his own life. However, because of the surgery, he had already lost a lot of blood and couldn't hold out for long. Lee shot at him, but he saved himself by using another man as a shield. The gangster was weak, so Lee beat him brutally and stabbed a sharp bone into his stomach. Even then, he didn't give up and kept fighting until his last breath. Lee picked him up and was about to shoot him when the uncle injected needles into Lee's veins, temporarily numbing him. The gangster then beat Dragon Lee badly, but Lee stabbed a glass bottle into the gangster's leg, severely injuring him. He could no longer fight, yet if he stopped, Lee would kill both him and his uncle. So, gathering all his strength, the gangster delivered a powerful punch that sent Lee flying several feet away. He rushed to his uncle and saw that he was badly injured. Before he could help him, Lee threw a grenade at them, causing a huge explosion. Thinking the gangster was dead, Lee fled before the police arrived. However, we see that the gangster was still alive. His uncle had jumped onto the grenade to save him, though he was gravely wounded. The gangster didn't want to leave him in that condition, but before dying, his uncle's last wish was for him to go far away and live a peaceful life. The gangster honored his wish and left. Meanwhile, a girl passing by saw the gangster leaving and quickly informed the police. But the police were never able to catch him because he had started living under a new name and identity. 15 years later, we see the gangster again, now working as a chef. During these years, he never revealed his true identity. Everyone knew him as Uncle Chan, and only as a man who cooked excellent food. Chan still had gold worth millions, but he never used it and lived the simple life of an ordinary chef. One day, while cooking for customers, his business partner Mina notices some men harassing a girl. They had mixed something into her drink, which Mina saw. She told the boys to stay away from the girl, but they threatened her instead, saying she didn't know who their boss was. Chan could have broken their bones right there, but he chose to calm the situation and let it go. Just then, a police officer arrived and asked what was going on. Mina told him that the men had drugged the girl's drink. The officer asked if she had any proof and then poured the drink onto the floor. Chan immediately realized that the officer was also involved with those men. He didn't want to invite more trouble by arguing, so he told Mina to go inside and apologize to the men. His suspicion proved right when, a short distance away, the officer started talking to those boys like they were friends. Later, we see a girl named Yu being bullied by her classmates. Yu had learned kung fu from her uncle and used it to teach the bullies a lesson. Chan, who had been secretly watching, waited until the fight was over and then came to Yu to explain that fighting at school isn't right. Since it was Yu's birthday, he gave her a small gift, which made her very happy. After that, we see the same police officer, who has received an invitation to a secret party that night. Chan is also there delivering food for the club staff. Officer Wong sees many young girls being forced to dance in the club under the influence of drugs. Their boss, who is a close friend of Wong, introduces him to a girl they had just brought from Singapore. He tells Wong to enjoy himself with her. Wong forcibly approaches the girl, but when he kisses her, she regains consciousness and angrily bites him. Their boss apologizes to Wong for the girl's behavior and is about to slap her hard when Wong stops him. Just then, the boss receives a phone call from a man telling him to leave immediately because they have discovered that Wong, whom they thought was their friend, is actually spying on them. Wong quickly senses the danger. As soon as the man tries to escape, Wong becomes alert and chases after him. The man's associates surround Wong from all sides, but he isn't afraid. He tells them to quietly come with him to the police station or it won't end well for them. The man refuses, so Wong beats them all badly, thrashing them until their bones ache. The man angrily says, "How dare you hit me? Do you even know who I am?" But Wong isn't intimidated by his empty threats. He slaps him hard twice and the man faints. Soon, the police arrive and arrest them all. Although the mission was successful, Wong realizes that there is a traitor within the police force who has been leaking their information. Meanwhile, we see Mina and Uncle Chan celebrating Yu's birthday. Yu asks them for 3 wishes. She tells them 2 of them but keeps the 3rd one secret. Her hidden wish is that her mother would marry Uncle Chan. While they are celebrating, a girl suddenly starts banging loudly on their door. She is the same girl from the club who had been with Officer Wong. She had escaped before those men could catch her. Chan notices that her hands and legs are trembling with fear. When asked, she explains that she had come here for her boyfriend, whom she met through an online dating site. But he betrayed her, took her passport, and sold her to the Chinese mafia. Mina gives the girl, whose name is Ava, some food and assures her that they will help her. However, Chan doesn't want to put his family in danger and tells Ava to go to the police station for help. Mina convinces Chan that the girl is terrified and has nowhere to go at this hour. She says she will personally take her to the police station in the morning and asks Chan to let her stay the night. Chan agrees, but he remains very worried. Mina helps the girl because 15 years earlier, she had been in a similar situation in a foreign country where people exploited her. She had even thought of jumping off a roof with her daughter to end their lives, but Chan helped her and gave her a new life. The next day, while Mina is cleaning the restaurant, some men come in. She tells them the shop isn't open yet, but they force their way inside and start searching for Ava. Eventually, they find her, and they kidnap both Ava and Mina's daughter. When Mina tries to stop them, they beat her badly. Meanwhile, Chan is returning from the market with vegetables when those men ram their vehicle into his car and flip it over. Chan tries his best to save his daughter, but because of an injury to his leg, he can't run far and collapses while limping. After that, he goes to the police station for help, but the police show no interest in taking his case. Chan sees on the news that human trafficking crimes in their area are increasing. If the girls are not found within 24 hours, they will be moved into the trafficking network, after which finding them will be nearly impossible. A police officer tells them to go home and says they'll inform them if they learn anything. Chan pleads with him to start searching immediately, but the officer behaves rudely and shows him stacks of missing persons files, saying they are not the only ones this has happened to. Just then, Officer Wong arrives. He notices that a suspect girl from the club is being questioned. During a previous police raid, no drugs were found on her, and she was about to be released. But Wong secretly slips drugs into her pocket and tells the officers to search her again. While looking through the files, Wong finds photos of Yu and Ava, the same girl he met the previous night. He realizes he knows exactly who might know where they have been taken. He goes to Ava's boyfriend and asks where she is, but the man refuses to speak without his lawyer. Wong tells the guards to bring him coffee, and before the coffee even arrives, he makes the man confess everything. After this, Wong submits a mission report to Commissioner Simon, who is very pleased with his success. It turns out that Simon is Wong's uncle and once worked with Wong's father. Wong was inspired by his father to become a police officer, and it was Simon who helped him join the force. They visit his father's grave, where we learn that the child who saw the gangster leaving 15 years ago was actually Wong. His father had been patrolling that area that day, but when Wong reached him, he found that someone had shot him. Wong's father died in front of his eyes, and ever since then, Wong has been searching for that gangster, believing he was responsible for his father's death. Wong is determined to catch his father's killer at any cost, but Simon warns him to be careful because their enemy is not an ordinary man. Meanwhile, Chan checks all the nearby CCTV cameras to find his daughter. In one recording, he spots the license plate of the car in which he was taken. He quickly asks mechanics in the area about the car and eventually finds a man who had repaired it a few days earlier. The mechanic takes Chan to a building where he had returned the car after repairing it. Inside that building, we see Yu being held captive along with other girls. Chan is determined to get inside somehow and rescue his daughter. However, entering that building directly would have been dangerous. Chan talks to a friend who delivers vegetables to that building every day. The next morning, the man delivers delivers vegetables as usual, but Chan is hiding inside one of the baskets and cleverly sneaks into the building. Meanwhile, we see Officer Wong arriving near the same building. He no longer trusts anyone in his department, so he climbs over a wall to get inside and gather evidence on his own. Once inside, he overhears some surgeons discussing removing a patient's eyes. He immediately realizes that organ trafficking is happening there. At the same time, when Chan reaches the upper floors, he discovers that the girls are being auctioned online. They are forced to act pleasant in front of cameras, and any girl who refuses is brutally beaten. There is only one rule there: either smile and get auctioned, or they will remove your organs and sell them on the black market. While searching for the child, Wong reaches the 3rd floor, where he finds Ava. She is crying and begging him for help, but Wong needs to gather solid evidence against the criminals first. He promises Ava he will return shortly and enters another room, where he finds the dead body of a girl. The traffickers have killed her and removed all her organs. Wong realizes the situation is far worse than he thought. He quickly takes some photos and starts heading back. Meanwhile, Chan follows a guard into a room where many girls are being held. There, he notices a candy, the same one he had given you on her birthday. Without wasting a second, Chan attacks the guard and knocks him unconscious. But he learns that Yu was moved somewhere else the previous night. Seeing the surgical cuts on the girls' bodies, he understands that none of them will survive the night. He wants to help them. Just then, Wong arrives. Chan assumes the police are involved with the criminals and attacks Wong. Wong tries to explain that it's not what Chan thinks, but Chan believes what he has seen with his own eyes. Hearing the noise, a guard comes upstairs. Both men hide behind the door, and once the guard leaves, they start fighting again. During the struggle, they knock over a cabinet, and the loud crash alerts everyone. The handler sends all the guards to the 3rd floor to kill them, but by then, Wong and Chan have cleared up their misunderstanding. They begin fighting the guards together. However, more and more guards keep arriving, attacking them with sticks and batons. Wong breaks bones left and right, and Chan takes down the rest. Seeing his men getting beaten, the handler sends even more fighters upstairs. Facing so many attackers at once is nearly impossible, but after 15 years, Chan uses his legendary super punch again and knocks down an entire line of enemies in one blow. Wong is shocked to see such strength in an ordinary cook. But then Wong notices Chan's injured leg and remembers that the man who killed his father 15 years ago had a similar injury while escaping. Wong realizes that Chan is his father's killer. Still, this is not the right time for revenge. Wong quickly calls for backup. His team smashes through a wall from outside, and the 3 of them manage to escape. Wong is furious at Simon for aborting the mission midway, but Simon argues that by going there alone, Wong not only risked his own life but also ruined their larger plan. Wong has solid evidence against the criminals, yet Simon warns him not to jump to conclusions. He orders Wong to stop further action and even instructs him to release Dragon Lee's men. Wong wants to know what they are afraid of, but Simon seems hesitant to reveal the whole truth. Meanwhile, Ava is captured again and handed over to Dragon Lee, the man running the entire human trafficking empire. Lee paints portraits of every beautiful girl and decorates his house with them. He is furious at the man who tipped off the police about their hideout. As punishment, he forces several paintbrushes into the man's mouth and warns that if even one falls, he is finished. A woman arrives who helps Lee run the business. It is revealed that 15 years ago, her father controlled the entire empire, but Chan killed him. After that, the business fell into Dragon Lee's hands. Lee has been searching for Chan all these years because Chan still has the stolen gold. When Lee learns about the police raid, he quickly checks the CCTV footage from the building. What he sees leaves him stunned. Then his eyes fall on Chan's super punch, and he instantly remembers the day Chan defeated him with that same punch years ago. The next day, when Chan returns home, he sees that Dragon Lee's men have captured Mina. Rita shoots both of Chan's legs and demands to know where the gold is. Meanwhile, Wong tracks Chan down and reaches his restaurant, only to find that Dragon Lee's men have already taken control. Fighting his way through them, Wong storms inside, leading to an intense gunfight. Chan tries to reach Mina, but he sees she has been shot. She dies right there. Wong chases Lee's men, but they all manage to escape. Afterward, he comes back to Chan and tells him to come to the police station with him. Chan, still shattered by Mina's death, lashes out in anger and attacks Wong, believing that if Wong Wong hadn't come, Mina might still be alive. They engage in a brutal fight, but Chan doesn't kill him. Instead, he ties him up and leaves. Wong tries hard to find Chan again but fails. He calls Simon for help, but Simon hangs up, saying he's in an important meeting. As Wong thinks about his next move, he suddenly spots Simon standing nearby. Wong secretly follows him and discovers that the person leaking information to Dragon Lee all along is none other than his own uncle, Simon. Wong is devastated. He never imagined his uncle would betray the department. Simon tries to justify himself. He says that when he first came to the city, 6 criminal organizations ruled it. Crime was everywhere, and the city was like hell. After years of his efforts, now only Dragon Lee remains. But Wong argues that by supporting Lee, Simon only made him more powerful. Crime didn't decrease, it just became centralized. What 6 gangs used to do together, Dragon Lee now does alone. Meanwhile, Chan receives a video of Yu along with a threat. If he doesn't bring the gold to their hideout, his daughter will be sold into trafficking. Chan retrieves all the gold and heads to their base. We then see the captured girls being scanned and loaded into shipping containers. Soon, Chan arrives with the gold. But when Lee inspects it, he says it's not enough and demands to know where the rest is. Chan says he'll tell him only after his daughter is released. But Lee didn't call him there to negotiate. Right in front of Chan, Lee tortures Yu by scattering sharp glass pieces under her feet, cutting her badly. Unable to bear seeing his daughter suffer, Chan finally reveals where the rest of the gold is hidden. After getting the information, Lee tells Amy to take revenge for her father's death. Amy has waited 15 years for this day. She grabs a gold bar and smashes it into Chan's head, beating him bloody. But before she can kill him, the police arrive and surround the place. In reality, Chan had planned everything beforehand. Before coming, he had told Wong the truth. He knew who killed Wong's father, and after everything was over, he was ready to surrender himself to the police. In exchange for the truth, he had asked for Wong's help. Wong and his officers take down Lee's men one by one. Forced to retreat, Lee tries to escape, but he grabs Yu and uses her as a shield, preventing the police from shooting. Amy tells Lee to escape with the gold while she stays behind to cover him. She fights fiercely with Wong, but in the end, Wong lifts her and throws her down. Meanwhile, Chan chases after Lee but suddenly loses sight of him. After searching desperately, he finally finds Yu lying unconscious on the terrace. Chan rushes to her side, but this too is part of Lee's plan. Lee has hidden a bomb there with the detonator in his hand. As soon as the explosion happens, Chan grabs his daughter and jumps off the terrace. Yu survives, but Chan is badly injured. Before he can even recover, Dragon Lee attacks him again and is about to kill him when Wong shoots at Lee. A heavy exchange of gunfire begins between them, but soon Lee runs out of bullets. After that, he starts attacking Wong with his bare hands. Dragon Lee, a master of kung fu and martial arts, quickly gains the upper hand, and Wong can't hold out for long. Still, Wong refuses to give up and keeps fighting. Just when Lee is about to kill Wong, Chan jumps in without caring about his own life and saves him. But in the process, Chan gets shot again. When Yu runs toward Chan to help him, Lee grabs her too and throws her off the building. At the last second, Wong manages to catch her hand. Lee is determined to kill them both, but Chan tackles Lee and jumps down with him. Chan could have killed Lee, but he wants the truth out of him first. During their struggle, Lee accidentally confesses that 15 years ago, he himself killed his boss, Amy's father. Amy, who is standing nearby, overhears everything. Furious, she stabs Lee in the back with a knife. She has waited years to avenge her father, but Lee fights back and stabs Amy multiple times with the same knife. He tries to escape, but Amy had already handcuffed him, so he can't get far. Chan punches him hard, sending him flying. Lee is already badly injured, but he gathers all his remaining strength and attacks again. That's when Chan uses his legendary super punch one last time and finishes Lee for good. This time, Lee doesn't get back up. Just then, Simon arrives. Seeing Lee on the ground, Simon shoots him again. Wong asks why he did that. They had everything under control. Simon coldly replies, "It's better for a devil to die." But in saying that, he uses the exact same word Wong's father said before he died. Wong is shocked. Wong hands Simon Lee's gun, but Simon takes advantage of the moment and points the gun at Wong's head. The truth comes out. 15 years ago, it wasn't Chan who killed Wong's father. It was Simon. If Wong's father had killed Lee back then, Simon wouldn't have gained anything. Simon admits he always tried to keep Wong away from the truth, but never expected him to turn out just like his father. He pulls the trigger, but the gun is empty. Wong had already anticipated this move. Wong is filled with rage and wants revenge, but he stops himself. Unlike Simon, he chooses to remain an honest police officer, just like his father. After that, all the kidnapped girls are rescued and finally given a chance at a new life. Sadly, not everyone gets a happy ending. Chan is shown lying badly injured. Yu begs him to get up, but Chan takes his his last breath in front of her and says goodbye to the world. A few days later, Eva thanks Officer Wong for saving her life. There's a hint that the two may have feelings for each other. In the final scene, Yu is again being bullied by the same boys from before. One of them mocks her, saying her attitude is gone now that her uncle is dead. But Yu uses Chan's super punch technique to teach them a lesson. Officer Wong shows up and warns the boys that if they ever trouble you again, he'll send them to jail. He scares them off. Now that Chan is gone, Wong becomes the one who looks after you. And with that, the story comes to an end. Hope you liked this movie. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.